Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today, since the Sephora sale is still on, or wherever you're doing your shopping in your neck of the woods, I thought we would compare Pat McGrath to Pat McGrath. Now, let me explain. If you were with my channel the other day when half of my Pat McGrath order rolled in, you saw a sped up rant about her shipping, and I'll let you go back and refer to that. Lots of complaints, shipping lost, order split up, all sorts of issues, constantly happens, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Well, the rest of the order, look who just strolled in, literally fashionably late. It is the brand new Divine Bronze Luxe eyeshadow in Venusian Sunrise for $58. But this also happens to be on the Sephora site in time for the sale. And if you are not in North American Sephora and getting these kind of sale deals, perhaps in, like I always say, in your neck of the woods, this is for sale, or on the Pat McGrath Labs site if you want it sometime before 2 Christmases from now. Rebecca, we were supposed to be done with the complaints. No, actually, it's not a brand new product anymore, so the shipping is a little bit more reliable on that, I gotta be honest. Or wait for the inevitable sale, I don't know. But right now, it's $58 regular price on sale currently at Sephora, or wherever you buy yours. Let me just say something here. We're going to look at swatches and we're going to do a look with it. I don't have any eye makeup on. Can I just say, please raise your hand at home if you have a large amount of Pat McGrath, shipping complaints aside for just a moment. Gosh, these black square cases are getting to me. The writing on the back, you got to get it in the right light to see what it is, whether it's even a blush or a bronzer. The little picture shows me 4 circles. So I'm like, okay, this is an eye quad. But telling them apart, and then generally, this one you just open. Most of them you have that thing you have to, depress and open. Gosh, something, please make them round, or I can't tell this from the bronzer, from the, I said I wouldn't complain about shipping. Didn't say I wouldn't complain. Okay, so I thought we would take a look at this since it is on sale in a lot of places, and it happened to show up fashionably late, to something I picked up that was new at Sephora on the sale, and that is this little mini Pat McGrath Labs eyeshadow in Sublime Smoke. This little guy, when not on sale, is $29, versus this brown little guy, when not on sale, is $58. Now, we do know that the more expensive Pat McGrath also, A, gives you more product, and B, has, I get this, slightly more innovative technology in the sparkle and shimmers and metallic and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to argue that. I get it. But I thought, let's look at them. Even if the sale is over when you see this. $58, $29, regular price. Wow, and they're all just kind of these fudgy, kind of pretty, neutral brown shades. So I thought, well, which one's better to get? I mean, it's Pat McGrath versus Pat McGrath after all, but pretty much double the price. So maybe you should just get this one or not. I thought we would decide that today, kind of swatch them next to each other and do a little bit of a look. So first of all, let's go to some swatches in 2 different lighting. I promise I'll ixnay the complaints. On the left part of my arm, you're gonna see it the way it's laid out for you in the palette for both of these palettes. On the left side of my arm is the $58, when not on sale, Divine Bronze Luxe eyeshadow in Venusian Sunrise. And on the right, you'll see laid out, because there's 6 shades there, is the mini eyeshadow Sublime Smoke, regularly priced $29. Also Pat McGrath, and you can see the shades there. Interesting, and the difference, really rich bronze, coppers. They're very, very similar, and I had heard so many people going, which one should I get? You think to yourself, well, I'll just get the one that's cheaper, but the allure of the $58 palette makes us think we might be missing something if we don't get that formula, and that may or may not be so. Let's take a better look at these here outside in the warm California sunshine. I relished the rain and the cold, relative cold, while I could, because we're back up into the 80s Fahrenheit here in Southern California. It is hot, 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 hot. And there we go with those swatches on my arm for you to take a look at. Okay, I am wearing my whole base of makeup, including some new liquid lipsticks that I'm going to be recording today, so watch for that video. But I also have no eyeshadow on, and I figured since we got 2 eyes and 2 palettes, let's just take a look at the formula and see what we think. We will give this more expensive $58 Venusian Sunrise over to this eye right here with a bunch of Rephr brushes also on sale. And this is what, you know, I get so upset with Pat McGrath. I say this all the time. I get so upset with the shipping and then the products come and they're just gorgeous. So I never stay upset long. So let's go in with that shade there in that top corner there, this matte shade. Just a beautiful shade. I mean, sometimes just even that little beautiful kind of chocolatey color would be pretty just even as a one and done. Same shade, and I'm going to go underneath. These do have names, so I will put them up there on the screen. Okay, isn't that pretty? And that's not even any shimmer. That's just super pretty. Okay, taking that same, I'm going to take that same brush and go into this really kind of deep, fudgy, chocolatey shade here with this Rephr number 28. I am just going to darken and raise the outer part of this lid. See, this is a really, really pretty palette. You know, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me that this palette is beautiful. I think you guys are all going to agree. It's just the question of, do you need it in your collection, and how much makeup do we have that we don't use, and how much makeup in these dark shades. But I'll tell you something that's a point in favor here. I just purchased that Melt. They did kind of a festival palette, Melt. Did you see it? Very colorful. And I wonder, a lot of us may be interested in what it looks like, but do we need it? It's not brown, I get it, but are you going to be wearing those kind of festival-y bright shades? So this is probably something you have a bunch of times over, but it's maybe something you would use a bunch of times over too, right? Okay, let's take this shade right here, and I'm going to put it into the inner corner, which is really, really pretty, and onto the lid a little bit. And then I'm going to take my finger, because I'm afraid this will have fallout, and there's much less fallout with a finger. So that really kind of glittery shimmer shade, whoa, holy moly, that just takes it up a notch, doesn't it? Let me get my finger out of the way for you to see. That's super pretty. And see, that's the kind of shade you're not going to get in the less expensive palette, and that is absolutely gorgeous. And it just, you can see the other colors through it. So that, and I don't know if I would put that on during the day. You know, that might be what you'd kick it up for night. But that, you know, that is sensational. It really, really is. And you're not going to get that kind of a shade in this other palette, but maybe it's good enough. So let's find out. Let's take another Rephr brush, a clean number 1, and let's go ahead and go in with a slightly similar shade right there. Now, some of you might say that you don't need either of these simply because you could recreate it by taking out a bunch of palettes either from Pat McGrath or other brands and recreating it. And that may be the case. That's not really generally what I do because I don't like to palette hop. I suppose I'm kind of lazy. I'm putting this here. I just kind of like one palette just kind of in front of me, and that's what I like to use. That's just me. All right, going in here, kind of recreating what we did on the other eye with that same sort of chocolatey shade, just over in the outer corner and up, just to kind of raise my droopy hooded eye. Okay. And then I'll put a little bit of this darkest shade, which we didn't have something like in the 4-shade palette, just right there. Okay. Very, very pretty. Now we have 3 shimmer shades here. So what I'll do again is I will try to kind of copy slightly what we did on the other eye and just kind of put this one into the inner corner. Not quite as sparkly when you see it on the eye. Let me show you that in a moment. All right, I'm going to kind of close my eyes here. This inner corner, you know, this is a more luxe, rich shade in the more expensive palette. Are you going to notice that every day? I don't really know, to be honest with you. Frankly, probably not. Really. Okay, and then let's go ahead and we'll do what I did before, and we'll use our finger here in this shade and just kind of put that over the top. So these are much more of a metallic shade, very pretty, not the kind of sparkle we were getting in the other. And let me just compare that. Pardon using my middle finger, it's just easier to use. For comparison, so if I were to cover this with a hand so that you're not confused between the looks, and then and then together. Look, they're very similar, but there is no doubt that the more expensive palette, and sorry about the lopsidedness, gives you a slightly richer, more glamorous look. And this is a little bit more down to earth, but it's kind of like the down to earth version, but for half the price. Maybe that's well and good. And we did leave one shade here untouched right here. I don't know if we need to put it on, but why not? I'll just stick it kind of in the middle. That's using all those shades there. So there's the difference in your looks. And obviously I am a beauty editor. I'm not a makeup artist. These are never application tutorials. These are formula experiments. But to know that this does give you a more flashy luxury look than this one. This one has a more flashy luxury price than this one. So you'll have to decide, and some of you, like I said, will decide that you could either hop around palettes, Pat McGrath or otherwise, to get the same look. You know, I suppose you could probably get this from Natasha Denona Biba if you had it, or any other, you know, numerous palettes, certainly by Pat McGrath. But if you don't like to palette hop, some of you might say you even have this palette a few times over in the same palette. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Is it worth spending this? Someone loud is driving by. Sorry about that. Is it worth spending just the $29 or getting that on sale? Or is it go big or go home with this more expensive? I am not sorry to have this more expensive one in my collection. If you wanted my advice, I would say it's kind of go big or go home. If you're going to spend it, get this one because it's so much more luxurious. But it's a dialogue, not a monologue. That's why I'm asking you. I'm seriously asking you because we're very involved together in our comments here, and I would love to know what you think. So definitely leave that below and let me know, either with or without the Sephora sale. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel to help me grow. Come on over to Instagram and TikTok too and say a big hello and give me a follow. And please know that you can, if you choose to be, even more involved in this channel by becoming a member or giving super thanks. But in any way that you choose to be here, I'm just thrilled to have you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.